Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I actually forgot to check to make sure. Yeah, looks like sound is on. Woohoo! Okay, let's see who's in. Shari is back. Linda Lava Lamp is in. Sapioid is in. Sapioid, I will cover your light one in a couple. I'm going to talk about preliminal first, but you are definitely on the docket. Sweetheart 11 is in. Let's see. I think that's everybody. I didn't get really advance notice put in. I actually haven't even read anything that you guys have written yet. Did anyone see the whale? Okay, nope. I didn't see the whale. Never know what's going to be. Shari D. So Prelim's name is an Emmy, not an Emmy for me. I've seen him with both names in different chats. So, yeah, preliminal. We were talking about preliminal. For me, the user that often visits here was named Preliminal. According to him, he has not changed his name, but he is now named Preliminal. So more than one digit, preliminal to preliminal. I'm pretty sure I have that second one right. And he said he didn't change it. So also, so Shari's saying she remembers it different on different accounts. I don't know. All I know is he said he didn't change it. So what's interesting is some people say it's always been preliminal. For me, on my show, I've always seen it as preliminal. Other people on the show swear it's always been preliminal. Then we had some interesting ones in the comments. That would be the word. So Biker Babe said that she remembers preliminal on Scarab Performance's show, and that Scarab would jokingly say preliminal, like as if he was confused or something, and he was joking. So I guess she always saw it as joking, but she would see it written as preliminal, like me. Okay, and then other people said, oh, his name has always been preliminal, but everybody says it wrong. So I'm kind of wondering, I mean, we have, Scarab had problems with his name too. He was surprised to see his name being so something. Okay, so, yeah, see, Society's Rejects remembers preliminal. Yeah, and supposedly, apparently, he's never been preliminal. It's always been preliminal. Preliminal. I'm pretty sure I got that one right. But it's like way too long now. So if there's people on there saying, that they always hear me say it wrong. And I try to be really careful about how I say it. I really don't think I've been saying it wrong for like a year. For me. And so another interesting thing is preliminal said that last week, right when we started talking about it, his computer had a problem. I think it was like the cord died or something. The computer cord died. So I thought it was really weird because he just basically made 2-3 little comments, and then right when everybody's like, oh my God, did his name change? He couldn't answer because his computer died. So it's just like, I mean, like, what are the odds? So because he couldn't answer, we're like, yum, talk. So it went on a lot longer because of that. I just think it's very interesting that it just died right then. Let's see. I'm from the Rainbow Portal remembers preliminal. Yeah, I know. So the thing this kind of brings up then, does that mean that I'm seeing preliminal and saying it, but some people on this chat are seeing preliminal and thinking I'm saying it wrong? So that means that somehow this chat, and probably all the internet, would be capable of, you'd be able to chat with people on nearby timelines. Like the preliminal people were talking with the preliminal people at the same time. And so some of them were like, oh, you're saying it wrong repeatedly for a year. And in my view, I've been saying it correctly for a year because it says preliminal. So I was hoping preliminal would be on here today so he could say if I was, in his view, saying his name wrong for a year or not, or if somebody remembers me saying preliminal. I don't know, but it's maybe a clue that we've got. So we've got Biker Babe swearing that Scarab Performance would say it wrong and laugh about it. But yet, what are the odds that he would say it wrong, but it just happens to be the exact name on another timeline? I mean, that can't be coincidence, right? I mean, he's going to mess up, but it's just going to be the other version. And then here's me saying it preliminal all this time, and other people are seeing it. I don't know. It's making my brain hurt, okay? But it seems like it's kind of a clue. This is something I've kind of suspected for another reason, but a little bit more subtle reason. So a ways back, we were looking at some little change, and people were saying, and it was in Mount Rushmore, and it was the hand of Lincoln showed up. Some people were saying, oh my gosh, you can see his hand grabbing his lapel. And they were saying it on Retcon. So I go over to look at all these images of Mount Rushmore, and I couldn't see it. And they showed me right where it was, and I'm like, I don't really see it there. And then like 2-3 days later, I checked again, and I could see it. So that means 3 days before they saw something I could not yet see. Like they were there first in the timeline. But then like a couple days later, it became clear. And you can still see it in one of the thumbnails of one of my shows where I made it the thumbnail. And I actually put an arrow on the hand pointing at it. And the reason I did that was because when I was making that arrow, it still wasn't, I mean, I could see the hand, but it wasn't really clear. So I felt like I had to point it out to you guys, this is the hand. So it looks kind of stupid now because it's obvious that there's a hand there. But so it kind of made me think, okay, so these people are looking at an image of Mount Rushmore and seeing a hand and saying it's there. And I'm not. I'm looking at the same image and I'm not seeing it there. So we must have been like, just a little bit off on the timelines for like 3 days until like I caught up to them. So, but that was just a couple days, So this is a lot more than that. I think we should definitely look at it as a clue that you can talk across timelines, whatever timelines are, All right, let me just see what you guys are chit-chatting about over here. Yeah, Shari, we wondered what happened to you guys. I don't know anything about the whale still. So Preliminal said he just said he didn't change it. He didn't say anything. That was in the comments. He didn't say anything about different accounts. Yeah, that would explain it, but I don't know how many people get two really similar named accounts. I'm not sure if Eva has given both the moderator status. I only gave Preliminal the moderator status because I've never seen Preliminal. And frankly, I haven't given anybody moderator status except for one last week so that they could put a link up. But I mean, I did some moderator wrenches a long time ago, and then I totally forgot about the even existence of the concept. And so no offense to anybody who didn't get one. I just, whatever. I just never thought of it after that. So yeah, I am positive that I only gave him one, and because I really only did it, there was only like 2 or 3 days I even was giving out wrenches. It was like, so it's all old school people that got the wrenches. For me, he was preliminal with preliminal. Wait, preliminal. Preliminal from preliminal. Preliminal from preliminal. With liminal meaning a place of transition. Well, there's a transition for you. Treen Deer is in. Welcome, welcome. It was preliminal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I gave preliminal a wrench. I don't know about this other one. What I guess in this timeline, that was him. And according to some people, I've been saying it wrong for a year. According to other people, I've been saying it right for a year. And now it's wrong and I'm not wrong. So I don't know. I remember it was different before and we asked him if he changed it and he said yes. Have been having troubles writing his name out here in chat since then. I don't know. He said he didn't change it in the comments. Maybe some other version of him did. I don't. It's getting weird. The thing is, if he changed it, yeah, I guess you could change it. I don't know. Intrepid. For sure, everybody was saying it wrong. I witnessed it, but I wonder if he was not preliminal the first times I was with him in a chat room. Huh? I don't know. I don't know. Even your show, April 12th, 2018, with with this Shiva statue image, you speak to preliminal, and you pronounce his name preliminal, focused and clearly. Yeah, I don't know, but that might be a different timeline, me. See, that's the problem. I mean, people have seen that their own past conversations change with the Mandela. So, like for instance, there are posts that I have made on Redcon about the what do you call that one now? Not the God and Man painting. It's called the God and Adam painting now. So I made posts about that one when it was in certain configuration, and then after it moved and we all freaked out and we went back to those old posts, my post had changed. The thing I wrote changed to match with the new Mandela. So I would not be at all surprised if my old statements also changed to match. We've seen this before. In fact, it's normal. It's the most common option. So just because I said it doesn't mean that I said it. He is not the only one with changes. Check Lone Eagle. He's got so dark and different. He's going darker with every shift. Yeah, I don't know. Well, Prelim Minimal just had a name change. I didn't really. I mean, it's a lot harder when people are just writing stuff in a chat and to tell personality change. But I mean, I definitely haven't seen any huge changes in Preliminal. But like my username is a famous Mandela effect change on Redcon, and come to think of it, there have been like 3 or 4 people just in the last few weeks who said for them my username just changed on Reddit. And keep in mind that in Reddit it's impossible to change your username. You have to get a whole new account, so I couldn't have changed it. I would have lost all of my moderator status and all of my old karma and everything. Karma is a point system on Reddit. So so it's impossible for me to have changed it. But what's weird is 3 years ago, that's when most people saw it change. Now, from my perspective, it's never changed. And then there's been batches ever since. So there's been a recent batch just in the last few weeks of people who saw it change. Now, they swear it just changed like the last 2 weeks. And for most people, it changed 2 years ago. And for me, it's always been the same. So the whole thing's a mess. So people are then like, well, who were they talking to before? Somebody who remembers the old, a me that remembers the old spelling apparently, and where did that girl go? And so I don't know. It's such a mess. I don't know. I look younger all the time. Well, thank you. I actually feel a lot better since I've been taking the vitamin B1. For like a year, I was taking the DMSO, and don't get me wrong, I still swear that stuff saved me. But it does, like, if you take a lot, it makes you kind of smell like canned corn. And And then when the lockdown ended, I kind of didn't want to smell like canned corn anymore. So I found that the B1 will actually make me feel even better than the DMS. So I actually think that is more close to the core of the issue, that there's something going on that B1 fixes, and I'm taking too much B1 for it to just be a vitamin deficiency. But B1 also drives mitochondrial function, so like basically energy production, and it's doing that for me. Now it won't do it beyond normal. I mean, you can't become like the Energizer Bunny by slurping down B1, but if your mitochondrial function was lagging and slacking, it can bring it up to normal. Not for everybody, but for certain people. So yeah, it saved my butt, and I do feel a lot better, a lot more awake. Like I used to be here years ago, I'd be just like, like I can barely keep my eyes open. There were times when I rushed the show because I was like so tired that I just had to finish. For me, YouTube used to be YouTube. Sweetheart 11, I do remember that, but it was a long time ago. Like in the beginning of YouTube, I remember it as you, with a U and then a TUBE. And then I used it a few times, and then I didn't. And then I went back, and somebody was telling me to check something on YouTube. So they, of course, are over my shoulder, and I'm typing in TUBE, and they're like, no, you idiot. Don't you even know how to spell it? It's YOU too. But I'm like, what? No, I do remember it. I think in part because the person behind me was being a bit of an arse about it, and it kind of pissed me off. I'm like, don't claim to be the internet expert, but yeah, that's one reason it sticks. So I do remember YouTube. And I do remember being pretty confused because I really thought it was a U. And then they said, I type in TUBE, and at that time it came up with like nothing. Probably now it would be advertising or something, but I'm like, why isn't it working? So I do remember that. Preliminal, aka preliminal. It's a lot harder to say now. Preliminal. Minimal. Preliminal. Preliminal. Okay. So it's prela plus minimal. In case you want to check, it's minute 12 to 13. I believe you. I really do. I've seen this stuff before. So, but it's a little freaky when your own words are different. Like other people have seen theirs change. I've seen other people's change. Yeah. We get every now and then we get a thread on Redcon where there'll be a Mandela change, like a secondary change. Like sometimes things change in parts, and so the first change will happen and we'll have a discussion on it, and then the second change will happen, and then people are like, I'm going to go back and find that previous discussion, and either they can't find it at all and it's gone off the face of the earth, or they'll find it but key words will be altered to match the current reality. It's always been one or the other. So that's the normal, and then they'll be freaking out, I didn't write that, blah blah blah. Yep. There's something like Google mirages or hallucinations when we search for residues. I think it may be the same mechanism, kind of like a reality bubble. Yeah, like if I type in God and man painting, Google knows that I am talking about God and Adam. And there's got to be gajillion paintings with a God and man in it. So how does it know that I mean that one painting from the Sistine Chapel of all the paintings? And there's other examples like that where it's like Google knows a lot of people say this but mean that, but how would they if that never existed? And how would they, even if we type it a lot, how would it know that we referred to this other thing? I mean, it's very fishy. I think you were right with the communication, but it could also go a step further to having people with different biologies and physics talking with each other face to face and seeing different things. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, what is a timeline? It's you only know reality by what is fed into your eyes and your senses, and it's mostly our eyes. It could be like it's very rare that you've got like a touch based Mandela, like, oh, I remember this sweater was scratchy and now it's soft or something. But it's pretty rare, and if they are going to be touch based, they're probably going to be personal Mandelas. They're not going to be group Mandelas. I mean, you don't know what the glass on the Titanic movie all felt like, because it's all visual or auditory. So if I'm standing next to somebody and looking at a sign, maybe that sign is fed into my eyes with one set of words, and maybe fed into their eyes with a different set of words. So maybe I thought I read no trespassing and they read no dogs, but maybe that actually is what both. Maybe there's no wrong. It's kind of creepy, but it's like before the agreement of what we were experiencing was very similar. So like the whole family remembered certain family events, and very reliably the whole family remembered it. But now apparently, it gets confusing. You can be right there but experience something different. I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to wrap your mind around. Prim is in a Facebook group that I'm in. I have to ask him. Yeah, Shari, please do. But he left a comment saying he didn't change it. So that doesn't mean in another timeline he didn't. That's why it's so hard. YouTube's a little harder because I think you can change your name if you wanna, but we've seen a lot of this on Retconned, and you can't change your username on Retconned. It's not possible. I mean, maybe the owner of Reddit could do it, but us regular schleps can't, and we've seen it a bunch. My username has magically changed according to hundreds and hundreds of people, even though I would say no, it didn't change. I saw another moderator's name change by 1 digit, and so did hundreds of other people. And there's been like 5 or 10 at least more on Redcons that names have magically changed, just switching around, just like close but not right, so that's why I'm not going to say, oh, I think it's fake or he's lying, because I've seen so much of it that, I mean, it's always possible, but I've seen so much of it. It doesn't seem that weird anymore. Like, one could see a flying plane have very large wings while the other sees very tiny wings, and arguing about something which they both can theoretically see at the same time. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because a lot of those, a lot of times it's stuff that's hard to really quantify. Like, I can say that the plane has big wings, and somebody else can go, yeah, it's got big wings, but the I see is not as big as the wings he sees, and it's very hard to say it verbally or explain it verbally enough to tack that down. I mean, you don't go, I see wings that are 1/3 the length of the tail section. I mean, nobody talks like that. This kind of reminds me of like that time that I went to the deli on Sundays a bunch of times, and then later it turned out they were never open on Sundays, which was impossible because we ate there only on Sundays. So it's just like weird stuff, because like for some reason, even though I almost always pay credit card wherever I go, I got in the habit of always paying them cash, and I never do that. And the girl I was with also always paid them cash, and since she always paid them cash, I just, in my mind, said, oh, I guess I should pay cash too, which makes no sense. But because I paid cash all the time, there was no record of having, I couldn't look up my credit card record and prove that I had eaten there on a Sunday because there would, and there would always be a credit card record in the past. So I basically sabotaged my own Mandela investigation retroactively by always using cash. And it's so unlike me. I don't think it's a coincidence. So what if we're with somebody who sees a red plane and I see a blue plane? I mean, am I sabotaging my discovery that we see different things by just for some reason never mentioning the color of the plane? So only when we really tack down a Mandela, like when those people saw the hand of Lincoln and I didn't, and we were really, really, I mean, normally you would never say, all those little things live. I don't know. It's just, it's like maybe we make an agreement on some subconscious level not to discuss the things that we see that diverge from what the other one sees, something like that. Although the wings one is weird because just about everybody really remembers larger wings that aren't raked back. Almost nobody remembers the engines forward on the wing like now. It looks crazy. So that timeline, I don't know. There's not many people from that timeline, but the one thing I do see is that as the years progress on a Mandela, the more and more people I meet that remember the current way. For instance, I ran into some older lady, and we were talking about the Mandela effect because her son sees it, and her son is like my age, so she's grandma age. So I thought, oh, I'm going to tell her about the what is that? The Lindbergh baby Mandela, because that one, I'm like, I used to be able to catch everybody with the Lindbergh baby. I'm like, what do you remember happening to the Lindbergh baby? Well, guess what? She remembered him being found 2 weeks later. It was funny because she was a little fuzzy on it, but she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they found the baby later. So she doesn't see that Mandela. She didn't see any Mandelas, actually. So her son saw like all of them. He's like my age. That was the sandwich store owner guy that saw me on the show the one time. So yeah, so it used to be that you could pretty much catch any older person with with that one Mandela, but now you can't. I'm running into them, and they remember the Lindbergh baby being found now. We are in different timeline dimension. Changes won't happen in the same time for all of us. Yeah, I agree, Shari. But what we're kind of saying is that even though we're talking, we may be in different timelines. So, like, you might hear me say one thing, and Sweetheart 11 might hear me say another thing if she's in a different timeline. Or she might see my username spelled one way, and you might be seeing it spelled another way. Even though you're both here on the chat right now, you might actually be perceiving different inputs into your brain. Slightly different. So then, we've got this huge thing the last few years of you could hear different things according to what you expect to hear. And I wonder if that's kind of a little teaser of that too, because I don't remember that really existing in the old days. I mean, there'd be minor things like, did he say the or because they're close, like the or but not like whole different sentences. Yeah, I wondered about the jib jab and the lockdowns and everything. So I mean, do some people live in a world where everybody's dying of the Rona, and other people live in a world where it's a nasty flu? Um, maybe both worlds exist at the same time, and maybe you'll go to the world you believe in, you know? Um, and I don't, I've thought about that. Definitely. I've thought about what if everybody turns out to be right? What if you go to a timeline that matches what you believe to be true? And this is one of the reasons I'm always saying be careful what you believe in really hard. So if you believe life's going to be hard, then it gets hard. Let's just say, if you believe a better world's coming, it's coming. If you believe it hard enough. So I'm just wondering if we'll end up where everybody turns out to be right. So if you believe that everybody's going to die of a pandemic, then everybody's going to die of a pandemic in your timeline. So that would be weird. I mean, and then you think about, like, say, pretty bad type people, like kind of evil type people. So if you ever noticed evil people, they kind of they assume everybody else is like them. Like if they're a liar, they're always accusing you of being a liar. They may be gaslighting you that you're a liar. In their mind, they don't trust you. You're probably lying. It's because they're a liar. Okay, so in their world, everybody's a liar like them. So what if they go to a world where everybody is a liar like them? It'd be the old, you go with your type, I don't know for sure, but I do wonder about that a lot. Yeah, like the Laurel Yanny thing. That was like the auditory version. I wonder if that's like a clue, because it's really only been the last few years. Steve McQueen or Steve McQueen. I'm not going to swear on this one, but I thought it was McQueen. I don't remember it as Mac Queen. Mac has a different feel to it for me. Let's see, Kia logo. A strange physical possibility has come to my attention. A window was open during ride in the train. I stood nearby and felt no supply air at all. It was like a dream. It's crazy. Huh. Okay, so you were like, no wind blasted through the open window. Yeah, I don't know. There's just seems like there's more little glitchy things like that lately. The last year, like I thought I saw somebody walking, but then I turned the corner and there's nobody there. So, I mean, like either somebody dashed like a mad demon into the house right after they were out of my sight, or something's not right. Just little things like that. I don't know how to describe it, but there's there's a explanation possibly, but it just seems highly unlikely, that would have happened. In 2016, I flew to London. I took pics of England from the sky, but now those same pictures are mostly obscured by the erected plane engines. Oh, that's interesting. That, Capilicious, that is really interesting. Because obviously you wouldn't have taken a photo of a plane part. You would have angled the camera to avoid the plane part and show the actual city. So the angle didn't change, but the obstacles changed. So see, that's what makes me think it's not just like it's not photos taken by a different you, because what kind of a you would take photos and not try to angle the camera away from the engine parts, It's like I've got that old where I supposedly carved the eyes out of the skull because I wanted to widen the eyes, and the eyes used to be sockets on the coyote skull I have. So now, since the eyes don't have open socket holes in a coyote, I just carved in the side of the face. But I mean, what kind of stupid me would just decide to carve a big slash in the side of the coyote's face? I don't think any me's are that stupid. And, I don't think any of you's versions are stupid enough to take photos angled where everything is blocked, you know. Eliza Pow is in. Having computer trouble. Sorry about that. Travis Scott. Yeah, I've never really heard of him, but I don't really pay attention to that scene, so. Just remember to use your euphemisms for the big C. Let's see, she's recommending something. Oh, quercetin. All right, so Shari just noticed the Kia logo change last night, but other people said they saw it before. Interesting. Okay, let's just take a quick gander at the Kia logo. I think I remember talking about the... Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about the Kia logo months ago. Excuse me. So, this little hook over here... I'm kind of skeptical about this little hook, though. It looks like a 1. I want to say that might be new for me. With the 1. I'm not 100% on this one right here. This center eye having the hook. It kind of goes with the A and the K, but... Okay, and so that the Kia no longer has the crossbar on the A. And I think we've Logopedia'd this, and it's not a new change. Pedia. Logopedia fandom. You gotta wonder if Logopedia exists just to make people think that their memories are false. Okay. 94 to 2012. It's basically the same. To 94. I've never seen that before, but... Okay, so yeah, it's pretty much... from 94 to 2021, it's been this. Slightly darker color. And now it's going to be that. Which, frankly, I would not have recognized as saying Kia if I did not know that I was on the Kia Logopedia, because it looks like KN to me. And mostly my brain goes, what? And then when my brain tries hard, it sees KN. It does not see Kia. And this is like the stupidest logo. I've not actually seen this until just now, but whatever this is, I don't know what their design people are, but you can't, when I was always taught that one of the important things is that they recognize your actual name of your company. This one does not qualify. But anyways, be that as it may, it's not a Mandela, at least not right now. So yeah, I don't know. The Kias for me changes older. So Shari, welcome to the timeline. Yep. I remember YouTube. Quercetin is the cure for allergies. It's awesome and it works better than any antihistamine. Interesting. So when I stopped eating wheat, I stopped having allergies. I don't have them anymore. Knock on wood. Knock, knock, knock. When I started with the B1, I don't feel like I'm going to fall asleep all the time. And most of my brain fog is gone. I think I'm still improving. I think that really is kind of a lesson that, maybe not B1 for you, everybody. I still suggest people try it, but there are solutions to these problems, and Big Pharma probably won't help you with them. I mean, the doctors told me I was genetically prone to asthma and I'd have it the rest of my life. Well, now I don't. And when I went in complaining about fatigue and getting sick a lot, they said I had a sinus infection, and I didn't. So, The doctors are not particularly skilled at solving systemic problems. If you got a traumatic injury or they can see something on the x-ray, they might be able to help you, but it's not been, I have not had good luck with other problems. Don't give up though. Food change for anyone. I'm not on about companies changing recipes, but things taste different. Things keep tasting different than I've always had problems with this, but yes, it's getting worse. I swear something tastes great today, horrible tomorrow. The next day it's too salty. The next day it's not salty enough, and it's the same food. Ooh, Austin 108 remembers YouTube. I actually, at the time, I think I thought maybe they had changed it, you know. I mean, I certainly never thought it was mystically altered timeline at the time. Treen Deer remembers it. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've had this many people remembering the old YouTube. Random's only been on here for 8 years. Yes, it was before then. It was early days. What was that, like 90s or so? No. The aughts, I think it was. Sometime in the aughts. Might have been late 90s. Yeah, I haven't really I have not researched quercetin a lot, so I'm not sure on that one. I think some of those things you might be better off, like zinc. I wouldn't crank on zinc all the time because it can unbalance your copper. Now, there is pretty good evidence that germs hate it, but I would wait until you had the germ and then pound it for a couple days with the zinc. I don't think that's really something you want to have high all the time, especially if you're not balancing it with higher copper. So yeah, quercetin, I haven't super researched it because I kind of feel like I solved my problem with the B1. I've been a lot healthier since then. But when I take C, a little bit of D. D is not something you want to totally crank on because it can build up in the system a little bit more than you like. But I take a moderate amount of D and calcium. So yeah, you know, maybe just take a reasonable amount of something and don't go overboard and see how it goes. Moneybag 7376, yeah. Vanessa, Vanessa's VA's name's changed for some of us. And Moneybags is the famous one, definitely. Yeah, see, I was like, who is Travis? But like I said, I don't really follow that stuff, so that could be it. Prelim Minimal is in. I got the name. Woohoo! We were talking about you. Was your ears ringing? So we swear you used to be preliminal, but now you're prelim minimal. So was I like saying your name wrong? So I remember saying preliminal, but people on here said that I said your name preliminal correctly in the past. I was thinking, well, maybe, and then other people are saying that I said it wrong all the time, and they thought it was funny how I always said it wrong. And then somebody was saying that, who was that? Scarab Performance would stumble over it and say it. She thought it was wrong the way he said it when he said it preliminal. So she thought he was saying it wrong repeatedly. I don't know. It's so confusing. Motor. Okay. I think that's the Kia link, right? Kia confirms logo changes coming this year. It's much more angular looking for the brand. Yeah, that's the new Kia. Now that I actually know it's Kia, I can see the IA in there, but I swear that was like a KN. If you just saw it, it's KN. So I don't know, man. Whatever. I Sharia. Okay, Eliza Powell remembers McQueen with a no A. Poor baby was never found in my timeline. Yeah, yeah, that was me. Same thing. Somehow, I mean, how are these? I don't know. I don't know if she maybe got the whole time download because she doesn't remember any Mandelas, and it's kind of creepy because her son remembers like all of them. I'm in the timeline where they discovered a big whale with a beak. Did they discover a big whale with a beak? I don't know. Big whale with a beak. Okay, let's just do this. Whale with a beak. Maybe we were coming. Wouldn't be shocked if. Are you talking about? You're not talking about the narwhal, right? Beaked whale. So there is a thing called a beaked whale. I think it just had kind of a poked out mouth, but maybe. Let's see what we got. Yeah, see, it doesn't look. Ooh, that one's looking part of beaky. It's looking pretty beaky. Arno's beaked whale photos. These are not that beaky. They're goofy looking, but I would not call that super. It looks like they're growing a beak though. So, when you say they had a beak, do you mean like a bird, like a hard keratin like enamel type structure? I would not be shocked if now that they're called beaked whales, they're going to grow a beak because that seems to be kind of how it works, isn't it? The name comes and then they fill in to fit the name. Ugh. Doesn't that look weird? The whole head. So, like, whales didn't really have, like, a separate tiny little head. They had a big mouth, like, that would go in here, and then the eye. This looks wrong. It's got this little tiny head and this giant body. And it looks like a joke. I'm sorry, but that is not right. It looks like a joke. Look at that. That is not right. It should have a big mouth to go with its big body. Instead, it's got this teensy little mouth. So, yeah, I don't know. We might get your beak sooner or later. Give it a few more shifts. Yeah, yeah, I think I've had on that they have beaked whales. I don't know, there's so many whales now. With Christians, there are two Mandela affected types, one that see Bible changes and one that don't. I don't know. Maybe if you don't want to see it, you can't see it. Because even those that say there's no Bible changes, it seems like they're a little like they're like no, it's just bad memory and like that. I mean, they don't. Most of them don't seem to really know. Most of them don't come out and go, "That's exactly how I remember it." I feel like they kind of see them, but they don't want to see them, or they don't want to talk about them. Rainbow Portal swears it's always been preliminal. Lone Eagle is now saying Bible changes are not happening and Emmy is evil. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just been really hard on a lot of people with the emotions. The timelines are just like every time shift, it's just harder to wrangle your logical brain. I don't know. Maybe it's just taking a toll on some people. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Bible changes are happening. Whether the Mandela effect is evil or not, I think is basically, you can't really argue. It's a matter of opinion. So. Intrepid, it changes his name to Interpid. Smack him. I think Bill Gates was Bill Gate, but hey, I'm alone. Yeah, nope, I don't remember that one. I think all this, this jib jab stuff and the lockdowns and the big C. I think it's been hard on a lot of people. So, a lot of people were like, yay, it's the new world and we're going to have a new earth. And then this happens. And I think it's been hard on people. I don't think it necessarily means we're not going to go to a better earth, but right this second, and obviously we're not there, so I mean, I can see why people might go, well, first we got the Mandela and then all this crap happens, but so that might have influenced people's opinions too. Ben Pyramid. Ben Pyramid. I have not heard of Ben Pyramid. Ben Pyramid. Ben. The Ben stone, named after the mound, was a sacred stone in the Temple of Ra in Heliopolis. It was located on which the first rays of the sun fell. It is thought to have been a prototype for later obelisks. I think I saw this not too long ago. It's another one of these capstones, which I don't think I had in the old timeline. Also called the Pyramidion, is typically depicted as a pyramid-shaped rock. So they're like cappers on top of the pyramids. I don't remember there being those originally. An obelisk-like stone. Let's see. Let me just click on this thing. Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Symbolic of the primeval mound of creation. Yeah, so all those capstones. Yeah, I agree. There's something awry with those. The Emmy made something my body smaller. My feet shrank one size. That's interesting because they say that your feet are supposed to get larger with age. My name has always been preliminal for me. I remember Dan stumbling over saying it and giving you a hard time back in the day. I don't know. I mean, I could say that I might have stumbled on it once or twice way back. I don't know, but I just remember you always as preliminal. And I swear I've been saying preliminal for like months and months. I'm actually so thankful that people can't hide their true nature anymore. It does seem like their nature shifts from timeline to timeline, though. I've seen people be like nice people, then become jerks, but then switch back to like kind of in between. So that like there really is variations in their personality according to the life they've lived. So not for everybody. Like Moneybags seems pretty similar to the old Moneybags. Only thing I would say about this Moneybags, the 73 version, is he's a little more into the esoteric, and he's a little bit more willing to jump on the the woo. I'm not dogging anybody for that because look who's talking, but the other Moneybags was more like logic oriented, more conventional thought oriented, but personality is pretty similar overall. You wouldn't notice from day to day that he was a different guy. Just little subtle things. Capalicious remembers it as preliminal. Well, dude, you are now a Mandela. What happens to the best of us? It seems like anybody stays around long enough, they have a pretty good chance of having a Mandela name. So see, from you, it doesn't change. That's my feeling. Like, I don't think that my username changed, but on Retcon, but hundreds of people have said it's changed, and they come in waves. It's so weird. Yep. So if you look at his old videos, his videos have changed too. The 76 videos have altered somewhat. It's been a while since you checked the Statue of Liberty sitting in a chair. Okay, I'll check it in a second here. We have NPCs, soulless. I'm not sure what the NPCs are, to be honest. I think there's got to be consciousness running them. I don't necessarily think they're evil. They might just be backdrop people. They may respond to the inputs that we input into them, or maybe it's some kind of pre-programmed thing. So, like, I'm not going to be mean to anybody because I just think it's a bad energy to put out, and it's a bad habit. I'm not going to be too... I do sit and wonder. I'm like, are those people real? I don't know. But, I don't do it in like a hateful or fearful way. I do it in like a curious way. When the heart and lungs changed, it greatly improved my emphysema, which I'm 99% sure was originally spelt with a Y. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Not everybody's stuff improves, which is something that makes me think that problems probably are very much energy based. If there's like a energy blockage or something, then it would make sense that even though the morphology of the area changes, you'll continue to have a similar kind of problem. The only YouTube channels with no changes are Eva's and Dan's. The rest of the YouTubers are either changed or disappeared. Yeah, it could be. I have had a few people say that they remember slightly different versions of my YouTube channel, but it's not real common one. So it maybe has changed for a few people. Art Generica. Well, I was illogical, only believed in science, atheist, but boy, that all changed. Yeah, the Mandela did that to me a lot too. And certainly you could argue that probably Moneybags has gone through a fair lot of that. However, if you go back to his old videos when he was just starting with the Mandela, he already knew a bunch of kind of esoteric stuff now in those videos. And I watched his videos in the early days for me, and they weren't like that then. So his old self changed too. It's just not his current self. Yeah, if it was just his current self, I would definitely say that your idea is entirely possible. I mean, certainly I'm a lot more into the woo than I used to be. Ooh, I got $50. Is that a dollar, really? Wait a minute. Somebody gave me 50 somethings. It looks like it's dollars. Wow. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Unless there's another one with that same sign. Usually when I get 50, it's like yen or something. So I don't trust it. That's a lot. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Capalicious is just kidding on the preliminal bandwagon. I'm sorry, preliminal, but you're probably going to have to deal with this a lot now. Capalicious. So yeah, no, he said he didn't change his name. It's always been preliminal. We've been talking about it for like 2 shows now. People pronounced it either way. See, I'm wondering if we really just saw it differently. People pronounced it the easier way. It really was preliminal since way back in MySpace days. See, I'm really wondering if we all just looked at it and half of us saw one and half of us saw the other. I'm shooketh. See, it's not just you. It's like half the show has seen it as preliminal this whole time. And somebody went back and watched one of my old shows, and supposedly I said preliminal in the old show. So I don't remember ever it being preliminal, but somebody said I said it. In fact, I've been kind of practicing since last week just so I can say the dang thing the way it is now. To me, Elon Musk popped into reality a few years ago. Yes, that's pretty common opinion about him. I share it. Prior, never heard of him, and I worked in financial. Still bought. Yes, definitely. And his backward landing spaceships. The first time I saw one of those, I thought it was a joke. And then I saw it like 4 more times. I'm like, that's real? Moneybug said brown eyes. Yes. Teresa Lynch lived in New York City. I'm not sure on Teresa, but yeah. More people with blue eyes in this timeline is what I'm seeing. I could swear the first time I saw your nickname, it was preliminal. I remember like Sapioid. Hey, preliminal, but yeah, I know. I know. Moneybag says Italian roots, brown eyes sound right. Yep. Then again, I have Italian roots, half, and I've got green eyes. Yeah, preliminal. You're gonna be sick of that Mandela pretty soon. Because if you're anything like I've seen, then people are gonna keep noticing it for like weeks, and then you're gonna hear that same one over and over again. Dang it, I feel like I'm reading the same stuff over and again. Okay, I'm back down there. I don't know how I'm not scrolling properly. Maybe I'll go from the bottom up. Shari, in one of Eva's former show, your message is no longer readable. They are all gone. But it's still readable what the other chat participants spoke to you. Huh. Yeah, and I mean, since she has a wrench, there's no way that she got blocked. So I don't know. Also, anything I see, she should be able to see. I wonder if it's some kind of Mandela thing you're talking about that shifted since then. It might be worth going back to see if you can remember what you remember talking about then. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember Moneybag without the S. However, there are Mandelas that only I remember, so don't feel bad. I think probably we all have a few like that. Like there's one with the Chevy logo that is unique to me, or at least to anybody I've talked to. And okay, so yeah, Moneybags. He's managed to uh keep on an even keel as much as you can expect through a lot. It's not easy. I mean, it really hasn't been with all the um kind of negativity in the world. So you got to really work at not falling victim to that. Okay, so let's get to sapioids then. Where to start? All right, I'm gonna. This one I think is at least for me is quite a bit older Mandela. I'm trying to think, but it's got to been at least a few years ago that this shifted, and I'm not. It's a tricky one. So I'm going to read to you the comment. And this kind of makes sense because we're seeing a lot of weird light phenomena. Like when the sun sets, um, now the light goes all the way to the other side of the sky, and the opposite side of the sky from the sun will be all reddish, just like where the sun is. And just all this weird stuff. There's all these rainbows and all this weird stuff. So stuff's going on with the light. But we don't really have any way to pin it down other than it's different. So Sapioid says this: refraction of light works opposite of how it used to. The angle of refraction is applied to the other side of the angle. Concave lenses distort light the way convex lenses used to, and convex lenses distort light the way concave lenses used to. I hope this makes it into this week's stream because it's a blah, blah, blah. I wonder if people did notice their eyeglasses change shape, even if they didn't notice the change until it was pointed out. Okay, so I don't really wear glasses, even though I'm kind of supposed to. I don't really have to, so I don't really. So I don't know. The rest of you, did you notice your eyeglasses changed? Now, for me, this is an old Mandela that I missed, and I'll kind of explain it to you. But maybe not for all of you. Maybe it's new. Or maybe it's newish for Sapioid, or maybe he's just noticing it, or maybe it's going to be at different times. So I'm looking at this. I'm thinking about this. I'm trying to process in my head. So I looked at the pictures of the refraction through prisms and stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't look right to me, but I wasn't 100%. I'm like, I could be wrong. It just looks a little, I don't know, something. Um, so that would mean that this kind of situation would have changed, um, or how things look in the refracted light will change. And I'm like, oh, maybe, I'm not sure. But then I really thought about it, and I thought back to the old days when I used to use magnifying glasses and how they looked. And that's when it kind of clicked together, because I really, really, really remember magnifying glasses looking like this. The lens inside the magnifying glass would look like this. Okay, and I really remember that. And I was looking at, I remember this is my mother's, I inherited this. It's like a, I don't know if it's totally antique, at least vintage. It might be antique magnifying glass. So it's all brass. It's kind of cool. And we've had this for eons in the family. And I remember this one originally being concave like this. That's no, that's convex, I think. Convex. This shape is convex. I'm pretty sure. And then later, like a few years ago, and I'm not really sure when, but it was after I moved over here, so it can't have been super, super long ago. I was looking at it, and the shape is now the opposite. It's now of the lens itself. Let's see. It's now like this one. That's the shape of the lens. I remember the shape being like this one. And now it is like this one. This is the and I remember looking at it going, oh, that must be like a different kind of magnifying glass. I mean, looking back now, I'm like, duh, that sounds so stupid. But in my mind, I'm like, this must be a different kind than the one I had as a kid. And it's got a different shape. But I'm... So I remember having to have this big old thick side because the lens was really fat there, and so you needed this thick side to like cover the sides of the lens. But now you don't because the lens is really thin there. So once I remembered that, and I actually remembered looking at this and going, oh, I don't remember them like that. That's when it clicked for me. So as much as I'm not 100% sure on the whole math thing, I do remember these things originally having that shape when it came to magnifying glass. And now they never do. So basically this shape now splits the light, and it won't help you at all to see. You need to have the this one. Find it. This one. This is now how you see. So it used to be if you were going to like fry a bug or something, it never had this shape. It was the opposite. So I do agree with Sapioid. I do think it might be an older change, though. I don't know for everybody, but for me, it's an older change. Does anyone feel shifts? So a lot of people, we think possibly you just feel kind of physically crappy, tired. Sometimes some weird body part hurts, and it'll be common across a lot of us. Kind of headachy and brain foggy. Those are like, I would say, kind of achy are like the common suspected symptoms. What did they say my channel name was? Okay, so my old channel name, both of my channel names, it was not my channel. Wait, are we talking about my channel or are we talking about somebody else's? Okay, so the thing that changed for me is my username on Reddit, which is Looney Gecko, and the version that people remember has Looney spelled with an E, Looney, Gecko. And to me, it's always been Loony, Gecko, no E. So that's the Mandela that everybody sees but me, basically. He was Scarab Performance. He's not Scarab Performance anymore, or he just doesn't have his channel. Are you messing with us? Preliminary. Don't mess with us, or then I won't be able to trust you. Do you feel anything in your body like electrical, warm, or cold or something? I have heard people say they have weird temperature control issues. Like they'll be really hot or really cold. Like you can't, like you put on a sweater because you're cold, but then later you're hot. And the temperature outside does not reflect the feelings. So I've heard of that one. There's other ones. No, I haven't really heard of anybody saying anything super electrical feeling, though. I have had weird days where I just kind of off balance, like my like I'm just a little clumsy or something. Like I can't quite concentrate on how I put my feet down as good as normal. Concave is indented. Okay, so indented like a cave. So I remember it as concave as being the old magnifying way, concave. And now it is convex then. I've had moments where everything just looked brighter. I do think that there has been kind of a few shifts, but not back and forth, but that it does seem like my eyes see color sharper than they used to, especially like blues, purples. So, like, when I mean clumsy, I mean, I'm not just being that I wasn't paying attention and tripped. It's like I can actually feel that, like, one time I went to the beach, and you know how the ground just is a little different each time you put your foot down? And usually I have no problem with that. But there was like one day where I just like it was kind of throwing me off, and there was a few times when I was kind of confused about the distance to the ground, and it wasn't ordinary dizzy, but it was kind of like that. It was just a weird day. I didn't notice it so much when I was sitting in the vehicle, but when I was walking, I totally noticed it. Even when I was leaving and I was walking on the cement, it just seemed like I didn't have my normal balancing skills. So I'm usually pretty good with dexterity, so maybe I just degraded a tad to like still in the normal range, but not normal for me. He was scared with an S, and now it's a small S. Okay, I'm not sure on that one. I have recently read a theory that gravity originates with DNA. Huh. No, I've not heard that one. Another content creator I've been following for years just got a space added to their name. He's not even an ME truther. Yep, everybody's, it's affecting everybody, whether they believe in the Mandela or not. But because they're not a Mandela person, then if it's YouTube, you pretty much can assume they didn't sneaky change it on you either. But like I said, we've seen a ton of that on Retcon, and you can't sneaky change it on Retcon. So that pretty much clarifies that it's fairly common. Eliza Powell. Yeah, vertigo without actual vertigo. I went through a few days back to back for me a couple times. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It was like, now I think if I didn't know about the Mandela, I'd get worried that there was some real issues in my head. But no, the next day I was fine again. So, all right. So, yeah, something's fishy, I think, with light refraction. I think this probably well, I can't say exactly how, but it probably has a lot to do with some of the weird light stuff that we're seeing. And I just wanted to put Sapioit's comment on there to try to clarify. Okay, so what's on what was the thumbnail? This thing, Chan Chan Peru. Have you ever heard of Chan Chan Peru? This one, I have a lot of questions for Chan Chan Peru. So, I guess we'll just go for the wiki real quick. It's pretty tiny on the wiki. Not as tiny as I've seen them, but it looks a little sparse. The largest city of the pre-Columbian era in South America is now an archaeological site in La Libertad region, 5 kilometers west of Trujillo, Peru. Was the capital of the historical empire of Timor from 900 to 1470. If I remember correctly, they say it was built around 850 AD. arid section of the coast due to lack of rain. The major source of non-salted water for Chan Chan is the form of rivers carrying surface runoff from the Andes. So it's an adobe construction, which brings up a lot of questions for me because it's supposed to be from what did I say, 850 or something, blah blah blah, 850 AD. Okay, so how it's adobe, I'm kind of assuming that nobody preserved it for long stretches of time, especially not right after it was abandoned. And adobe like washes away in the rain. Is it just that they don't get rain hardly? How is adobe? This is a part of it. This is in Chan Chan. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Chan Chan. It's very digital looking and it's all sparkling pristine. I'm like, how can they have, I mean, did they just totally recreate Chan Chan? How is it this good? It looks like it's been digitally put together. Some more Chan. I mean, I really want to say it just looks like it's brand new and they made it up, and it all just looks too good for Adobe. So there's an overview of it. So it was supposed to have housed approximately 40 to 60,000 people in its heyday. There's more of these digital looking things. Fish there or something. What is that? There's an eye, a goofy snout mouth, or what? What is that? Actually don't know. Let's go back. More fishies. They did like their fishies. So I just don't get how it's all like perfect. Now some of these are not perfect, but a lot of it looks too good. So it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of these days I'm just going to have to look at all of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites because there's like a jillion of them now showing up. So really neat stuff over here in Chan Chan. I just don't get how it's in this good a condition, though. I've certainly never heard of it. It's got a very unique look. If you've seen this before, you would probably remember. See, very, very unique looking. I'm not even sure what exactly is going on with this style. I haven't really found an explanation for why it looks like honeycomb. I mean, we have Adobe constructions here in Southern California. Nobody did that. They just blopped the whole thing as a solid wall. There was no honeycomb construction. So is it for looks? And how come it's all perfect looking? I mean, did they just redo it all? If they redid it all, then maybe it's all just fake. I don't know. I mean, like, I know Mandela is creating a bunch of these things, but I'm looking at them and they're like all perfect looking. And it's Adobe. How did Adobe survive from 850 AD till now with the assumption that hundreds of years probably passed without proper preservation? So, I mean, what's up? I don't know. Is the Mandela going to create all this stuff and then it'll turn out to be fake or something? So yeah, I'm thinking though that we'll probably see more of this Chan Chan coming arriving. Some neat looking stuff in here though. Look at that. So I'm not sure if all of this is supposed to be Adobe, but that's the impression that it gave. And it looks like it certainly could be. All right, so look at, I don't know if those are supposed to be original, but, you know, those have obviously pretty much been constructed recently or totally redone. All right, so what do we got here now? Some kind of squirrels? Squirrel patterns on there. Maybe it's a bird. It could be a bird. Actually, this looks like a bird. But that... yeah, I guess so. It could be a bird. So yeah, 40 to 60,000 people. That leaves a lot of room for more stuff to show up in Chan Chan. Oop. I don't think that was part of the plan here. I don't know why that keeps coming up. I cry uncle. I mean, that does not look old either. It looks really new. So, I mean, maybe some of these are reconstructions, but still, it just, the whole city looks like they just made it for like a Star Wars movie or something. Okay, so I guess that's near the river. Dope. Why do I keep getting that guy? And that's it. Okay. To scam. So, like, what is this? Repairs all in here or what? I don't know. It just, it looks way too good a condition. I mean, I really feel like Adobe, if you neglected it 20, 30 years, it should be just gone, right? I mean, maybe there's no rain, is that why? But it just seems way too good a condition. No, I don't know what's going on, but... Oops. Sorry. Yeah, you missed your Mandela. I don't think many people... I was just saying, I think that changed for me like years ago. Because I remember my magnifier looking weird like a number of years ago. I don't remember. I do remember it being, you know, the hourglass shape of the lens. And now it's not. And I remember looking at it thinking, oh, that must be a different kind. But I just was... I don't know why I didn't catch it. But yeah. So I do think it's changed. But I don't... Not many people chimed in. So I don't know. It's an older one. So people might have pretty much gotten used to the new look. At least for me, it's an older one. Adobe. So Adobe. Okay, let's just look it up. Adobe. So it's made out of Adobe, basically. So basically, it's just like some kinds of mud mixed with like straw and stuff. Adobe construction. Let's go to construction. All right. The name generally given to any construction process that uses clay is the primary building material. So basically it's made out of dirt. It's like clay, and I think a lot of times they squash some straw or something in there, and there's like a certain mix. But it's basically a dirt house. And that's why I say I don't see how it could survive for hundreds of years. It's dirt. So we have adobe houses. There's a few of them left in Southern California, but they're like less than 100 years old. They have been continuously maintained the whole time because they degrade. I even painted an adobe house once, the inside, because they had put wood and stuff on the inside. I just told them flat out, you know, as house painters, we don't know anything about maintenance of adobe. That's definitely not a material I can help you with. So we're not talking about Adobe Acrobat computers. We're talking about mud brick homes, basically. Clay, as it is, I guess, the word. The Jeju Island statues. It kind of sounds familiar. I think we might have had those on. Jeju. That guy does not look familiar, though. No. Is that real? Come on now. Those look like... That's not... I mean, those are those supposed to be old? They look like garden gnomes or something. It looks like a bad... It looks like a bad quality garden gnome or something. So that's supposed to be, I guess so. I've never seen those. Those are hilarious. All right, I'm writing that in. Jeju Island statues. I don't think I've had those on before. But the hands are offset. That's interesting. What's up with the bulgy eyes? These grandfather rocks are all over Jeju Island. Buddha statue. Whoa. Okay. Huh. That's weird. They all have the weird, the goofy hands and stuff. Page is missing. What about that one? Huh. All right, let me just do a quickie wiki here. See what wiki has to say. These expressive stone statues serve as timeless guardians for the common people. Dol Harubang. So, South Korea, honeymoon capital. Rather suggestive headwear. Okay, I hadn't thought of it before. But now that you mention it, okay. Okay, let's check out the wiki here. Large rock statues found in Jeju Island. They are considered to be gods. Check out history. Okay, so they must be pretty old. There are three main theories as to the origin of the Dal Harubangs. Either they were introduced by visitors from the sea, or they are a counterpart to the Jongsungs, totem poles of mainland Korea. Jongsungs are also called Byeoksu in southern Korea, and this similar with the name Byeoksumyeori lends credence to the second theory. According to Tom Naji, a work dealing with the geography of Jeju, the first Dol Harubang were manufactured in 1754. Dol Harubang, produced from 1763 to 1765, once stood outside the eastern, western, and southern gates of Jeju City Fortress as guardian deities. They have become the symbol of Jeju Island, and replicas of various sizes are sold as tourist souvenirs. The statues are sometimes sold as sources of fertility. The origin may have more to do with Jeju-do's present-day statues as honeymoon island than tradition. Okay, yeah, huh? No, I've not seen those before. So they look like angry or something. Look at, doesn't that like an angry old man whose eyes are bugging out and his chin is sticking out? But then I guess this is the suggestive part up here. Yeah, interesting. No, I haven't seen those before. I'm going to take a quick gander at these Jong Seongs just for fun here. Okay, so they're wooden totem poles, they say. Huh. Okay, it does have a similar look with the eyes and stuff. The bug out eyes and the kind of crabby mouth. So I could see a certain similarity. Saw that on Dan's channel this week. Oh, the Jeju Island ones. Interesting. Yeah, I've not seen those before. Okay, so what else we got going on here? Chan Chan, refraction. Oh, I have a story. This one's kind of interesting. So, I had to go to the assessor's office in a nearby city in order to renew my fictitious business name. So basically, it's boring business paperwork that has to be done like once every 5 years. So I go in there and I'm waiting in line and they're clacking away at their computer. So I give them paperwork and then they clack away for like 15 minutes. So I'm just got nothing better to do than stare at the wall. And I listened to this woman next to me, and she had a very interesting story that I've once heard on one of the Mandela channels. She was saying that, so she's about 40, so a little younger than me, approximately. She's saying that she recently discovered at age 40 that her birth certificate does not match any of her other paperwork. It does not match her driver's license. The name that her mom told her is her name. Anything of that she's been writing for the past whole 40 years, it was one digit off. Sound familiar? So she's like, how did I get a driver's license and all this every other legal piece of paperwork in her name is the name she thought she had, but her birth certificate has a different name. And her mother has no recollection of that name that is on the birth certificate. Now, she didn't say what her name was, and I didn't want to like jump all over her as a total stranger, but it was very strange that. And she's like, well, how can I have all this other paperwork off of my birth certificate and that be wrong? And I just thought it was really interesting because we had another guy on a number of years ago who said the same thing happened to him, and he thought it might be a Mandela. I'm like, that every time I go into that assessor's office, like something kind of weird happens. And so this time I'm going down there driving, I'm thinking, maybe something weird will happen. I'm like, nah. And then this woman and me were the only two in there, so I could hear her yapping. So it was very interesting. It's one of those coincidence things. Oh yeah, everybody agrees the scarecrow black hat is like super weird. I had that on last week. Somebody brought it up in chat, so I wasn't trying to steal it or anything. So yeah, we all think so. What else was it? Let's see. Let me just dig up the scarecrow. There were some other things that we also thought was a little different. Oh yeah, the pants. People don't remember the pants. And they don't remember the skin, the creepy, super creepy skin. Okay, I don't remember it. I don't know about anybody else, but I do not remember his skin being pulled down and then becoming cloth down here with a rope around his neck. That is creepy and icky, and it's like horror show kind of thing. So what I remember is that there was a whole bunch of straw sticking out here, and so he just had like kind of a brown face and like not just a little bit of crunch straw like this, but like just a ton of straw. So you basically had normal clothing of like a tan color and then a bunch of straw coming out around the neck and then a normal face with bad makeup on. There was none of this skins becomes baggy stuff. This just is it looks like someone yanked his skin down and then put a rope around his neck, and that's just ugh. And I remember a lot of straw coming out over here too. So that to me is actually a bigger Mandela than this, although I agree that is pretty weird. But since that's creepy, it really sticks out to me. That would give like, that would be like nightmare material. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street. Your skin is yanked down and it's all icky. And plus, I don't remember the pants either. I just remember them way more plain. So yeah, those pants I don't remember. So I think there's a bunch of changes. But this look is kind of more like it, but it's not quite right. But see, there's like all this weird straw sticking out and stuff. That's more like I would remember it. This one's close. The neck's not right, though. I really don't remember a rope around his neck. Ugh. So remember we were way back in the day, it was we're not in Kansas anymore, it was in Mandela, and then how she the statement she made when she clicked her heels, and then the ruby slippers weren't looking the same. And then it was Tin Man had a gun. There's a lot on those. Yeah, the rope on the neck, it's creepy. But yeah, nobody remembers that black hat either, so I totally agree with you on that one. Yeah, tan. It was really plain, like dirt dust colored. Tan, 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 tan. I also heard many people suddenly have a minus linking their middle and last name when they didn't used to, and sometimes only on some documents and not others. That's interesting. Why would that even come? You know, why would that even show up? Like, her mother didn't even remember her having that name on the birth certificate, you know? So she's like, my mom's been telling me the wrong name all these years and blah, blah, blah. Check the rib cage. And others who had minus in their name suddenly not having it. Yes, exactly. Dirt, dust color, what the heck. Yep, yep. So that one was brought up, was it Moneybags? Or it was one of the other channels, and then someone mentioned it on here. All right, so I think we did the rib cage not that long ago, didn't we? Cage, human. I mean, it's been changing and changing and changing. Like, you know, more webbing up where the cartilage part is. Let's see, we still have 2 floating ribs. Yes, looks like it. I don't really see anything that I haven't mentioned like 3-4 weeks ago. That manubrium looks like it's interesting. It's this middle part looks different in every image. It's really fat on this guy. This one's skinny. It's short over here. So it looks really long over here. Are they going to just have a lot of individual variation now? Look at how short it is here on this guy. Interesting. That guy looks really pinched. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything new. Let me know, because I don't think I see it. Teardrop shaped. What are you talking about? The manubrium? This middle thing? So for me, it was like a tie. It is still kind of like that, but... So the end, are we missing... Where are those two little dibble dobbles on the end? There should be... It looks like the end might have changed. What's up with that? Let's see. It had like a little separate knob at the end. I'm not really seeing that knob now. Of course, here it looks like a giant long tail. Why would they draw it like that? This one is pretty close to how I remember. It kind of expands out like a tie. There's the nub on the end. The front edge of the ribs looks different on each version. Yep. Oh, JW's in. Welcome. Andy Chuang's in. So I do remember there being like a nub thing on the end. Originally, way back, the whole thing wasn't there for me, but in the recent years at least. Remember the whole rib cage being more teardrop shaped a few months ago. It all does slowly change, and it can be kind of hard to tack it down because it's like sneaking along. I don't remember that circular bone at the top of the ribs by the neck. Oh, this thing here? So that's, I've covered that before. It's basically the top rib bone now. It's gotten really tight and tiny. And I've noticed that on my bones that I sell, that I started getting these really short ribs. So it's super irritating because I get ribs in from, like, say, coyote ribs, and I'd measure the shortest one, and then I go a little shorter, and I make that the bottom of my range. And then I measure the longest one, and I make that a little larger, and I make it the longest of my range. So then I figured, no way will any bones come in that aren't in that range. And everything's fine for like a year, and then I'll get a whole bunch of bones in, and they'll be like super short. And now I've got like, so coyote rib bones, I've got all these super short ones now. I got to redo the photos. So yeah, that rib is a pain in my side because it's gotten super short, and almost all of my rib bones that I sell of different animals, suddenly I got a bunch of short ones in. They don't fit in the photos. Dimple doffles. Yeah, I don't know. I'm too lazy to use nouns anymore. It wasn't closed before. Yes, Intrepid, I'm glad you remember that. So for me, there was no manubrium, and they were all floating ribs that would come. They were attached in the back, and they would come around, and then they would just be like this, like fingers in the front. There was none of this business. And there wasn't cartilage attaching the bones to the manubrium. There was just like a wall of cartilage in there that kind of protected the front, but that was it. There was no bone in there. So, I mean, this is a better plan. It blocks more injury and stuff, but that was back, though. That was one of the first Mandelas I saw. Chick was talking about how breathing has changed. You can keep your breath in for longer without having the urge to breathe out. Definitely agree there. What was I doing? Something I had to hold my breath for, and I just realized it was this way easier. The other thing I feel is that the lungs are so tiny now. I really feel like I can't get much air in there, but yet they work fine. I get my air. I mean, I'm not like suffocating, but it feel like they're like only half volume. I don't have any asthma. My lungs are totally clear, yet I can't. Um, it there's just less volume in there, and if you look at the images, you can see that there is. No, Chick is not Eva. I think that's one of the other YouTubers. Go ahead and crush on somebody else. It's fine. So JW, remember the open ribs? That was like one that got me early on. Is like, I read somebody wrote the rib cage used to be open in the front, and I first thought was, you mean it's not? I mean, I was like, that one was the first biology one that I heard of, and it was a whopper for me. I can breathe in deeper and climbing stairs much easier. Yeah, I don't know. I can climb stairs easier, but I can't get, it just feels like there's less. I have plenty of air, don't get me wrong. It just, I remember being able to suck in a lot more volume than I can now. The new worldwide cough might have changed that. No, I think it's just, you look at the images of the lungs, they're just tiny. So my old lungs went way lower and they were way closer together. And the heart is bigger now, so it's oinking a bunch of space that the lungs used to have. Does anyone have the channel of Chick? Sounds mysterious. Yeah, somebody maybe link it. In the beginning, the Chick channel was very shifty for me. And I assume you mean that in the Mandela shift, not in a shifty shift. Okay, so let's see. Covered that one. Covered that one. All right, so there wasn't a ton of Mandelas this week other than those kind of extra freaky ones, but a lot of them were more personal. But this one was kind of neat. This one is from, I'm just checking that. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to credit anybody. This one is from Susan Ravella. So apparently they used to play polo with cars. Can you imagine that? I don't know if it's a Mandela, but it's just really interesting. So I'm putting it in. Auto polo. Where did it go? So basically, you would hang out of the car and smack the ball around. So this guy, I don't know if this is faked or what, but supposedly this image is, they were playing polo and he, cut the wheel too hard or something? And these two fell out and supposedly it was really dangerous. And so you can see that this guy has the polo mallet and this guy has lost control of his. I don't know. I mean, like, you can't make this stuff up. Using automobiles instead of horses. The sport was popular at fairs, exhibitions, and sports venues across the United States and several areas in Europe from 1911 to 1920s. It was dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Played in smaller covered arenas during wintertime, a factor that greatly increased popularity in the northern United States, etc., etc., etc. I don't know. There's just all these images of it. So, like, one guy drives and one guy hangs out and wallops the ball. Somebody's fallen out already. Looks a little staged, if you ask me. Oh, somebody ate it. I don't know. How can you drive that bad that you're flailing out all the time? I don't know. I don't know. Chick is the singer in the beginning of Dark Wolf's Den YouTube channel. The changes in the lenses were strange because I looked at how to make telescopes a few weeks ago, and only a few days ago I noticed the changes in the lenses. Huh, that's interesting because for me that's a pretty old one, so maybe you're new to the timeline. Cause yeah, that antique magnifier that was a number of years ago I was looking at that. Ooh, I got $25 somewhere. Oh, again? Are you serious? What was the name of the Mandela Effects channel that had the Johnny Five robot from Short Circuit movie as intro outro? Anyone? For $25, please find it. I have no idea, unfortunately. I would love to tell you. Johnny Five robot from Short Circuit movie. There's the notification finally. Need input is what JW says. And thanks for the money, too. I appreciate that. Need input. Okay, we've got 2 votes for need input. Yeah, he's in Japan. Yeah, what, has he not been posting? The SMQ is the shifty one. He used to be SMQ and changed to SMQ AI. Yeah, I didn't know him early on, so I only knew him towards the end when he was SMQ AI. So yeah, preliminal. Your job is to find out how people remember your name. You gotta do the research, bud. Okay, so next one. All right, this one is an interesting one. John Austin found this one. And I did actually see one of these masks lately and thought it looked weird, but somehow, like I just haven't learned yet. I just gotta wonder how many of these slipped by me, or I kind of saw it but let it go. These Guy Fawkes masks. And John remembers it spelled a different too. I think it was FAUQUES. I am not sure on that, but I do feel like they've kind of altered. For starters, a lot of them have these cheek, like red rouge cheek thingies, and then it went onto the lips recently, and those are some of the ones that John was noticing. I did see one of these like 2 weeks ago and thought it looked weird. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they're upgrading it. But I also don't remember these pinch lines in the cheek area. Like he has jowls now. I don't. It used to be a really simple mask without a lot of additions. Another thing I don't remember is, speaking of weird shaped tie face things, I don't remember this weird tie shape being on the chin. Okay, and then one thing that John totally remembered is that there's an additional whisker off the eyes. He just remembers 2. I don't think I remember any over there. I feel like the whole thing has been like sort of gotten more fancy. I also feel like this kind of sudden jig-jag of the mustache is weird. I remember it being smoother. So it looks like an upside down, I don't know, what is it? It's like, it suddenly makes these sharp corners. I don't remember it doing that. And you look at them, and it's pretty much, they're all like that. Look, it's got the 3 whiskers off the eyes. Everything is really quite similar. It really looks a lot. So my old one was more stark white. It didn't have the colored rouge cheeks. And it just didn't have nearly as many indentations. It doesn't have these cheek indentations. I mean, he's almost looking Chinese with these weird whiskers off the eyes. Or something. It doesn't look the same. I mean, look at this one has even got the cheek, the grooves here are like colored in. Total pink lips. It looks like this one's got 2 dots under the nose too. I don't know what's up, but I don't remember there be coloration under the nose. And they're pretty much all like that. This one is a little closer than what I remember. It's more simple. But I really feel like, I think this is the one I saw running around on YouTube here. And it just doesn't look right. The whole look, I barely recognized it when I saw this as a Guy Fawkes mask. And this is now the standard. I should have looked. So kudos to John. They don't look right. They barely, this one is a little better. See, it has the straight line there. That one is, it's not right either, but it's closer. Look at the double lining in the eyes on a lot of these. That, like, it's got weird glasses or something. What is going on with the eyes on these? Look at that. I have not seen that before. These all black ones look better because you don't see all the weird rouging and stuff. So I don't know what's going on, but Guy Fawkes looks different, I guess, is my final story. I mean, like, look at that guy. That doesn't look right. He kind of looks like a zombie in that one. It's too realistic. Before, it was very plain, like a cheap mask. So you knew a mask was on. Now it's starting to look like a real face enough to be creepy. Need input is on BitChute. Oh, did he have too many problems with the YouTube censors? You can't hardly say anything anymore. I'll have to check for him on BitChute since I'm on there. Oh, we're getting late. Today was a really long day. Weed input. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much input you'll be able to give on weed, though. Unlike psychedelics, it's not really known for massive, insightful, genius thoughts. Some people I know do use it to, like, anti-anxiety, though. It's pretty good for that. Like, I know a few people who smoke just before bed so they can sleep. Autistic Simon, I was actually diagnosed with a subtle form of autism. Interesting. I actually think I might be like just a little on the spectrum. A lot of that stuff kind of fits on. I really hate looking people in the eyes, and there's a couple other things. I've been working on them, but and my brother was diagnosed with Asperger's, so I think he's on the, definitely on the spectrum. But I was the one that turned out to be the nerdy one. My brother is more artistic. weed helped me snap out of society's groupthink. Well, that's good for that. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. I don't like the sedative ones anyway, though. I don't like any sedatives. I am told the Scream movie mask also changed. Oh, I don't know. Let me see. All right, first, I have to say that I am not an expert on the Scream, but I remember the mouth being kind of twisted. It's now symmetrical. I don't remember that. I also feel like the eyes, it just looks kind of sad now. It used to look, yeah, I would say it's changed. It used to look scary, but now it just looks like a sad boy. But this mouth was like kind of all to the side, creepy. The eyes like that, it looks like a droopy puppy eyes or something. This is a little closer, but see, it's a little to the side, but I think his head is just to the side. So I would say, yeah, that doesn't look right, does it? The thing is, although I've never watched the show, you see this freaking mask all the time. Huh. See, it's a little to the side here, but still, he looks like a sad boy now. He doesn't really look like scary. Huh. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of it, but I would say good find. If you smoked, you would know that it changed in the past. It had that coffee-like aroma. So I smoked a little bit in college, and it was either I was less sensitive or it was weaker. But you could kind of smoke a few hits and slowly get high and then stop. And then like years later I tried it, and then if you smoke, you're like bam, gone. I mean, I don't know if I got more sensitive, but everybody told me it's a lot stronger. And I don't know, I just responded to it very differently, and I just wasn't, I mean, I really wasn't that into it to start with. It was just once in a while it was kind of interesting, but then I had my fill, so it never really was my thing anyway. I think it helped more in college because I was more anxious, and it helps you calm down from that. But then when I got older, I just made me like sleepy and stupid was my feeling. I mean, I definitely know people who can't sleep who really kind of need it to get to sleep, but yesterday was tough. It felt so much from everyone around me, like everything was amplified. Interesting. It really pays off sometimes working for yourself by yourself, because then if you're having a hard day, you don't have to like deal with anybody else's business. And let me think. Yesterday, what was I even doing? So Tuesday. Yeah, it did seem like maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was really special, but I was a little tired yesterday. I went home early for me. But it wasn't real bad or anything. But yeah, I've definitely had those days when I just like, it's not like the people are bad or anything, but I just can't be near anybody, or I don't want to be. Like, it's very, like, I just want to run away and be by myself. I've had those days. Someone from Japan said John Lennon wore white in his Imagine music video, but not anymore. I'm not familiar with his works. I am not sure on that one. Autistic Simon had 2 different doctors that suggest I do have subtle form of autism. They both practically paraphrased each other. I'm sure there's a fair number of people that might be in between. When you were during my era, they didn't really look for autism. So it really just wasn't that much of a thing unless you were really bad. And my brother was pretty bad. But I was pretty quiet, and they didn't really look for quiet people who didn't pay attention. And even though I wasn't paying attention like 90% of the time, the 10% of the time I was paying attention was enough for me to get like okay grades. Yeah, watching the old movies, the ME changes. It's like songs, it's not as fun to listen to the old songs when a word is off over here and a word's off over there, and that part sounds a little weird. Dog sharks and some sharks found in the Thames are venomous. Yeah, they have that. If you're talking about that weird spine on the dorsal fin, that one's a few years old for me, but I do agree it's a Mandela. All right, Rainbow Portal felt a big energy wave yesterday. Because sharks need to be scarier. Yes. In fact, when earlier in the Mandela, one of those spines, shark spines, came up for sale on eBay, and I bought one because I don't know. I guess I thought, I don't know what I thought. I guess I didn't realize it would get this crazy and there'd be so many things, but I'm like, wow, this is real special alternate timeline spine. But there's now alternate timeline, like everything. Really, they have venom in their teeth. Wow. Okay, hold on now. That is totally new. Venom. Why can't I not remember how to... All right, I'll just do that. I have to agree. Sharks are not icky enough. Although they've gotten nicer, you can like pet them and stuff. It's sort of like the alligators. So, what? Is that real? Look at the eyes. It looks fake. Spur dogs have venom secreting spines on their dorsal fins. Okay. First of all, what is up with the eyeballs on this thing? Open in a new tab. I'm going to expand it so you guys can see the hilarity. Is that the expand button? It's not doing it. Anyway, these eyes look ridiculous. It looks like some kindergartner drew those on their face. Spur dogs. But they're saying that it is in the dorsal fin. Starry smooth hound. Sharks including taupe, starry smooth hound, and spur dog. Measuring some 23 inches and covered in venomous spines. I thought there was only one venomous spine. Covered in venomous spines. Found in deep water, the spines in the front of the shark's two dorsal fins. Yeah, right there, I believe. Secrete a venom that can cause pain and swelling. All right, yeah, it looks like it's that dorsal fin thing. At least for that one, unless there's a different one. Anybody remember Affected Collective? I do remember that one, but I didn't find it until more recently. And then I watched some of the old shows of Affected Collective. Well, anyway, I'm glad you're feeling better, JW. I mean, you work in that restaurant. It's just, it's it's a lot of stress sometimes just handling all that. You got customers and you got the the pandemic thing and all that. So it's a lot. I mean, I could definitely see myself. I'm not that outgoing that I want to see people all day, every day. So it would be harder for me too. Why are their spines venomous? Yeah, no, I don't remember that originally. Yeah, so some of the old movies like I used to watch as a kid, there's just I don't know. I mean, I guess I grew up and you could explain some of that, but I don't remember um so many sex scenes and it's more lascivious now, a lot of the older stuff. YouTube has live chat now on top chat mode instead of live chat, which shows mostly only your own comments until you refresh. Okay, so I should have it on live chat next time. First 3 seconds of MacGyver theme song. So if I play that, I risk getting copyright, so I'm not gonna play it though. You guys can check it out though. Anybody remember Bluebeard or Blue Bear person? Bluebeard, I believe it was. I don't know. There was a lot of skepticism about whether his stories were legit or not. So I don't know what to say on those. Okay, so anyway, good job, John Austin. All right, I think we're down to the last one. I don't think I have any in the back. No. The last one is from Remy Rodriguez. So it's just more weird historical stuff, basically. So what she remembered is she found apparently she found it for 15th century, and I've heard it mentioned for 15th century, but then I found it again for 18th century, that they used to make fake pregnancy bumps so that women could look like they're pregnant when they weren't. And it's like multiple different times that this has supposedly happened. All right, let's see. So these are the 18th century ones. Fake pregnancy bumps made of tin. Did you know that apparently it was a trend in the 18th century which involved tin pinafores? The women would wear fake pregnancy bumps made of tin strapped to their bellies. That sounds really comfortable. Against all decency and delicacy and disfiguring the female body. It caused a deformity which is only seen in the female sex during pregnancy. These decorations were called pads, and the smaller ones patties. They were usually made of tin, and therefore were called tin pinafores. The artificial stomachs were in great favor, particularly with unmarried women. So, does that make any sense? Which caused the wits to say that a revolution had taken place amongst the signs of the zodiac, and the twins had come too near Virgo. But above all, these pads were the butt of jokers who used them unmercifully, and their use soon had to be discontinued. Such a fashion was too bad taste to last long. Anyway, so there's that one, and apparently they also did it in the 15th century. Um, Well, that was pretty weird. So, I mean, again, I can't swear it's a Mandela, but history just gets weirder every month. I also found these other, whoops. Well, I was looking up that one, and it wasn't so easy to find. I also found this one. Okay, so ridiculous fashion fads in European history. Mouse fur eyebrows. Oh, okay. Have not heard. What's interesting is the top batch of these I've never heard of. Chopins, which are these platform shoe thingies. This. So, I mean, you thought that those Japanese gaita things were hard to walk in? This looks insane. And I don't know what's going on with that foot, but it looks like a hoof. Platform shoes could put many modern platforms to shame with dizzying heights. Originally designed to help women navigate muddy streets without mussing their skirts, the towering sandals soon became a status symbol. Chopins would reach heights of 20 inches and would often need attendants to help steady them as they walked. Bombasting. So bombasting is basically they stuffed fabric in to make their arms look fat. The men would stuff into their stomach region to look like they had a poked out stomach. Oversized wigs. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I've never seen any. I've kind of seen this look before, but I've certainly never seen anything that looks like this. It looks totally insane. Vassard Masks. Gotta have some masks, don't we? A Vassard mask was a featureless mask meant to protect a woman's pale face from the sun when she traveled in the 16th century. Okay, but it gets weirder. The mask was held onto the face not by a ribbon or cord, but by a button or bead sewn into the inside of the mask's mouth that is held between the wearer's teeth. So what, you got to stick a button in your mouth to hold the mask on your face? I mean, that does not sound comfortable. The masks were often covered in black velvet and sometimes did not even have a breathing hole at the mouth. A Vassard mask caused a lady traveler to be mysterious, dour, silent, and possibly oxygen deprived. Okay, so have you seen anything like that? Because that's insane. Heaven forbid you should get a tan. Like, I don't know. It's just, okay. So then the whole first half, I've never heard of any of that. And then the other stuff was just old news. Corsets, hoop skirts. We've covered cod pieces, and you can see now they're starting to have a different color. When I first saw the cod piece, they would match this upper clothing, but now it appears that they're having them match the lower clothing, so that makes them stick out more, pardon the pun. That just, I guess it wasn't obscene enough that the Mandela has to go on with that. Neck ruffs, you've heard of those. So like all these lower ones, and patches, which is like fake beauty marks, that's been done even in modern times. So the first bunch I've never heard of, basically, and I just thought it was interesting that all these ones I never heard of, and then the second batch I've all heard of, the neck ruffs and all that stuff. Anyway, I think that's it. Juju. So anyway, good find, Remy Rodriguez. Appreciate it. It's kind of a slow Mandela week. I didn't really hunt for them, though. I was pretty busy. Freddy Krueger's hand now only have 4 blades, not 5. I could not say on that one because I just wasn't into that show. Well, I will say that the claw marks for monster drinks used to be 5, then it was 4, and now it's only 3. Because I have a friend who drinks Monster a lot, so I see it all the time. Freddy Krueger, I don't watch, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, there's kind of a pattern then. Less scratchy marks. At least for those two. Thanks for stopping by, JW. Did they wear a corset under the 10 fake pregnancy bellies? That's a good question. Maybe they were trying to get out of the corset. So it was like, oh, instead of wearing the corset, I'll just be fat. Cousin It is now Cousin ITT. Yes, Autistic Simon. That actually was on Retconned a couple years ago. I thought it was a big old obvious Mandela, but most people on there remembered the double T, which really surprised me. I don't think I didn't discover that one either. Somebody else did. But yeah, I totally agree on that. Cousin It. So that's an old one for me again, but definitely a Mandela. Oh yeah, that's right. The Adams family's got two D's now. I Yes, that was on before too. Retcons, and I did not find that one either. But I totally agree. Actually, the that looks ridiculous, and a lot more people did agree that there was only one D in the Adams family. Definitely. I don't know. This timeline loves its double letters. Like, used to have double T's and some stuff, but now there'd be like double D's. What is the point? It doesn't change the pronunciation any. I mean, it's just weird. Double D's. I don't think I had any of those except for, the sex joke double D's, but I don't think there was that I don't think there was any spellings that had that I can recall. Frankenstein's monster. Let's just check out Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein's monster. Which I'm very suspicious was just Frankenstein, but we'll let that one go. Okay, yes, I do remember the bolts. But we've had this one on. Some people remember them in the head instead of the neck. But yeah, they've been electrodes for a while. That one's another one that's a couple years old for me. Some of yous is just making it into the timeline. So yeah, I remember the big fat heads on the bolts too. I mean, just because it's a bolt doesn't mean you couldn't stick electrodes on them. The masks on the paintings is 2 years old. Someone lost children from the Mandela effect. Well, there was this one guy, Bluebeard, but it's, whether you really, he had a lot of wild yarns to tell, and not everybody really believed him. And he's the only one who's made like 3/4 of the claims on there. He's the only one who's ever said that's happened. So, all right, how do you switch it to, let me just see. Top chat. Okay, there. Sorry, I didn't realize it was that easy. I thought I had to go back into some settings or something. All right, live chat. Woo! I don't even know why it was that, because it should be the same as it ever was. I didn't voluntarily change it. Sometimes I feel like the people in Fahrenheit 451 who remember the books. Dang it, it's been so long since I read that, I don't remember which one is which. I do remember one where they went on to they colonized Mars, and then stuff started changing, and only a few people could remember the old way, and then they slowly changed into aliens. I don't think we're going to totally change into aliens, but Random, are you taking off? I'm going to cut out pretty soon too. Wolverine. Wait a minute. Are you telling me Wolverine does not have his 4 claws? Because now I have something to say. Wolverine. Wolverine. I didn't know anything about Freddy Krueger, hardly. But Wolverine, you better have your 4 claws. No. I only see 3. Oh my God. That's not right. That's not right. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's not right. That's not right. You can tell which things I know and which I'm not sure of. Okay. I can tell you that Wolverine, okay. They came off the back of each knuckle, and there were 4. It looks like now they're coming between the knuckles, and there's only 3. Okay, that is not right. So there's definitely a pattern then. They're losing their claws. The monster scratch marks have lost 2 scratch marks. Wolverine has lost 1, and apparently Freddy Krueger has lost 1. So there is a pretty strong pattern. I don't know what it means, but the characters are losing their claws. Check that out. Somebody gave me money again. Woohoo! I got 50 somethings. Thank you. I think they're somebody money. I don't know which money that is, but I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Today has been a lucrative chat. I very much appreciate it. Now I will drink time tea, sleep a bit, and keep warm. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So yeah, Wolverine. Just not right. Beautiful Wolverine. I have to say, that was like one of my favorite characters, and still is. And there is no way that Wolverine had 3. That is not right. Kitt has a row of light under the normal front lights. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, I think we're looking at those. I don't know. Kit cars change a lot. Look at the side view. That doesn't look right. We've already talked about the interior looks weird, but look at it's all sticky outy like a snout now. That does not look right. I can only guess maybe the car it was modeled after has changed. Yeah, so here, yeah. The whole mess is different. I don't know. I don't want to say there were no headlights, but I think it was just like ordinary-ish headlights on the side. So now it looks like a weird smiley mouth. And that's the nose. And so the lights that would go back and forth were the primary deal on it. But now they're sort of back behind on the vehicle a little bit. So it definitely does look different. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say. It does look different. I can't put my finger on it the same way I do with the claws on Wolverine, but see how the hood kind of comes down like this a lot, and it just looks different. I don't know, and it doesn't look as good. Technically, compared to the pre-2021 humans, we are fairly alien. Yeah, after I said it, I'm like, oh, I'm not totally sure. I don't know. What's an alien? I don't think we're becoming, let me put it this way. I don't think we're becoming replicas of an ancient race that were once here. Not like on that show. I don't think they actually did a movie out of it. That would be an interesting one. But the book, I think we're changing, but we're becoming something. But I don't think we're being genetically engineered into a whole nother race of already existing things. I don't think it's working like that. I could be wrong. Who the heck knows? But I had a huge statue of Wolverine, and I had 3. Well, good find. So we've definitely got a pattern with the claws. I don't know what's going on with those. Now, every time you figure something out, it's just more questions. So we have this pattern of less claws. Let me just take a look at Freddy Krueger again. So first it was the shirt has more different color in it. So he had all 5 before, and now he has 4. Okay. I'm going to take your word for it because, like I said, I wasn't sure on that one. And then, so that's 3 of them now. Was there one I'm missing? It's Krueger, the monster drink, and Wolverine have all lost claws. Are we getting declawed? Are we less dangerous? I don't know. Some of those guys are good guys, like Wolverine. Monster is like neutral to maybe good. I don't know. And then Krueger's bad. So the characters are all run the gamut. So it's just the claws that are changing. So what would that mean now that we see that pattern? What does that mean? I mean, they're not even real. I don't think we're going to get to where we really have metal shards coming out of our fingers. So I don't know. What is that even? Why? That's kind of bugging me. I'm going to have to think about that for a week. Now that you said it, I do remember the claws coming out of the knuckles. Yep. I don't know. I just always kind of jived with the whole concept of Wolverine as kind of a loner, and he wants to do his own thing. And, he doesn't want to be bothered. But then when it really came down to it, he was willing to fight. I just kind of see myself like that in some ways. Probably wouldn't fight that good, but oh well. You can't fight the Mandela. That's actually a good one. You can't fight the Mandela. Maybe not. Who is collecting the missing claws? So are we getting less violent? Are we getting declawed? What's going on? May mean the evil are able to do less damage. Yeah, perhaps, but Wolverine was a good guy. A very good guy, I might add. He's definitely a good guy. Norwegian crone. I got 50 of them. Everything has a lesson to learn. Yeah, well, TV and stuff, but one would assume that we created TV and we are getting, the propaganda oriented. But now with the claws disappearing, did the Mandela I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be a reason for that pattern, but I just don't get it. So sometimes, physical things change. If fingernails change, I could say, okay, well, we're undergoing a shift in biology. But these are fictitious items on fictitious characters. So, I mean, like Monster Drink, you don't even see the monster, you just see the scratches. So, what's up with that? Kitt used to have the lights that open and close. You're right. Yeah, I do. I do remember. Yes, I do remember that now that you mention it. Yeah, I knew what was wrong. I just, sometimes it bugs me because I know it's wrong, but I can't remember how it was before. That's why I like the Wolverine one, because I know it's wrong, but I also know I remember exactly what it was before. So it makes me feel better. When it's wrong, but I can't remember what was right, it just bugs me. Used to look sleek. Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of, it's not as cool as it used to be. Yes, I remember just between them and just three. Yeah, I mean, you might be from the current timeline more. It definitely happens. Kitt's car's whole front changed. Yep. And the whole dash area had changed. We've covered that before. Tried the live stream before, but it says you needed 100 subbers. 1,000 subs. I think you still do, don't you? I haven't been keeping up with it, but in order to stream, I think you need 1,000 subs, and you also need a certain number of watch hours per certain time period, like within that time period. And they've actually upped that because it used to be, it was 10,000 watch hours in a year. I think it was 10,000 watch hours ever, something like that. And now it's in the last year or a certain amount of time. I pretty much make it fairly easily, though, but when I see what's going on in the world, I can see how the old series were trying to tell us the future. Yeah. Well, I guess you just think it, people learned and it can't happen, and then it does happen, and then you're like, oh. it's That's not a lesson I ever wanted to see played out, but here we are. I got a Knight Rider light and put it in my truck when I was a kid. Yep. Actually, I had a big crush on Michael Knight when I was a kid. I was just that age, It was like totally my thing. So I watched every show. Maybe we were taken from the Dialent planet and we're being adapted into the race which took us in to join their society, because it doesn't seem like we are being tested and taught to be better people. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like everything is evolving, so it makes a certain sense that we are too. And they do seem to be upgrades, so there's that. Wolverine's a good guy with a bad attitude. Well, it wasn't that bad. Well, it was a little bit bad. Watch Enterprise, the one that shows before Kirk and company. Temporal War. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the people who think it's evolution, and then there's people who think it's a temporal war, and then maybe it's just combining timelines, and the split Earth theory. So I don't know. I tend to lean towards the latter ones, but I don't know. If it's a temporal war, why do some people remember and other people don't, though? That's what's weird. Nazi Germany was the first with TV broadcast in 1930s. I don't think I know when it... Kitt or Kitt? K-I-T or K-I-T-T? I thought it was K-I-T-T. Night Industries 2000. Kitt. So I guess you could abbreviate 2000 as one T, but I think I remember it as two T's. There's an episode like that in the Twilight Zone. People are alike all over. Yeah, I used to watch the Twilight Zone, and as much as it was interesting, a lot of them kind of ended kind of like sad or bittersweet, or kind of like, that's one of the things I didn't like about it. It was like, oh, well, that would suck if you were stuck there, would be what I'd be thinking all the time. So, even then, I did not fool myself that it would be so fun to, at least we have more people in it together, but that's the one saving grace. Can you imagine thinking you were the only one? It would have been horrible. Most likely we are being given a chance to level up into what we would call gods, demigods, saints, so on. We are taught quite a few life lessons by the Mandelas. True, I do think it's some kind of evolution thing. I don't know what you would call what we're evolving to, but something better, let's hope. So my feeling on a lot of things, I got 610 of those, I forgot what they are. It's not yens, right? Oh, but they're good. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. It's definitely been one of those days of, lucrative days. So very much appreciate that. So I definitely have weeks where there's nothing. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so what, Capilicious, you remember 3 scratches? So for me, it was 5 scratches originally for Monster. And then Mandela Affected Channel was the one who noticed it first. He noticed that it moved down to 4 scratches. So 4 scratches still seem plausible, but really it was 5 scratches, okay? So it moved down to 4. He noticed that one. And so every day I'd look at it and go, oh, it's only 4 scratches now. It's only 4 scratches. And then one day I looked and it's only 4 and it was 3 scratches. So it went down 1 more. So I know that one's been tinking down. For me, I mean, I can't say for anybody else, but for me, it is definitely going down. Oh yeah, what's their slogan? Unleash the beast. Yeah, it's true. But the beast has less claws now. I had a crush on Xena the Warrior Princess as a kid, but don't tell anyone. Yeah. Those characters were like perfect for that kind of thing if you were the right age. Who didn't like David Hasselhoff in the 80s? German loved him. Yeah, well, I was just at the right age. Michael Knight, a man who does not exist. Yeah, that is kind of the problem, isn't it? The non-stop synchronicities stopped for a while, but they're back. I've been getting more of those this week, definitely. 6 bucks. Thank you, newbie123. Appreciate it. Rolling in money. Yep. If only I could buy more time. Some people might remember due to having stronger psychics than others to the point where temporal changes affect their memories a lot less. Yeah, maybe. I do think maybe we just, like other people, get the download. But the one issue, though, is if it was all downloads, then we should just have the original timeline and the download timeline. But us that remember different timelines than is now don't always agree. So there must have been other timelines and downloads, and now it's getting kind of messy. So Capalicious remembers 3 scratches. Yeah, it was definitely 5 originally. And the 4 to 3 is what I really noticed because I had already been watching it from the 5 to 4. Rubles or ruples? If the money has changed to ruples, I'm going to laugh because I remember rubles. Do not tell me that the money changed to ruples because that would be pretty weird. Rubles. It's not rubles anymore. I used to love Kevin Sorbo and Hercules. I think he was pretty popular. I think a lot of people did that. Thanks for replying to my monster question. No problem. Actually, that one's a big Mandela for me because, like I said, I was already watching it when it got to 4. Also, like, my friend was just being kind of snarky, so he stuck the monster sticker on the back of my car. And so I was looking at those scratches like every day. So I was like, yeah, I'll just leave it there. And my car was green and the scratches are green, so it fit. And so I was looking at those scratches all the time. 3 scratches for the letter M. But the M has 1, 2, 3, 4 scratch marks in it, though. It should be 4 scratches for the letter M. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rubles. Yeah. Are you telling me it's not rubles anymore? Rubles. Oh, I'm going to type in rubles just to see what comes up. Ruble. Ruble is a... No, it's still rubles with a B. That would be pretty weird. It may have been gone from Kalishnikov to Kalashnikov, but it is still rubles. Red Bull gives you wings, now was wings. Huh? I'm a little confused. Red Bull gives you wings. It's not Red Bull gives you wings anymore? Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings. Are you saying that there's no wings on the Red Bull character? All right, there's some wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, there's only bulls. All right, I'm still seeing some characters with wings. That's... Ruble is Russian. I'm Russian. Well, you're saved because it's still rubles. But I swear it was Kalishnikov rifles, not Kalashnikov. And even my friend who carried them in the South American drug war remembers Kalishnikov, not Kalashnikov. So that one's a trip for me. The rubles. There probably is a band name of rubles already. And every Mandela is a band name. You try to look up Arctica, and it's a band name. Let's look at the Mandela scam. Three eyes now used to look like we. I'm a little confused on that one also. Are you telling me that the we now has 3 eyes in it? Okay, still 2. I'm not. I think I'm not following. Wasn't there a lawsuit with Red Bull gives you wings some years ago? I come from the Kalishnikov universe. I remember Kalishnikov. Yes! I look now it's a freaking Kalashnikov now. It's just totally wrong. See? Kalishnikov. Try to type it in. And it was named after Michael Kalashnikov. So I think that guy's name change is what the problem is. Or the Mandela. So his name is Kalashnikov, and the guns are named after him. It's sort of like how the Haas avocado was named after Haas, and now it's named after Haas, some guy named Haas, and it's a Haas avocado. In Persian, it was Kalishnikov. In Germany, it was Kalishnikov. I don't know. In America, it was Kalishnikov. But yet, when I type in Kalishnikov, it gives me Kalashnikov. It knows. There's no Kalishnikovs in sight here. Search only for Kalishnikov. Let me see who put that in. Government yammer about Kalishnikovs. Yeah, there's definitely residual. And plenty for now. I've literally never heard of it before until like a month ago. I've never heard of the word Kalashnikov. I was going to say that idiot said it wrong, but he was freaking Russian. So that's what confused me. I'm like, wait, a Russian should know how to say his own gun, right? And he wasn't like an idiot either. So I looked it up, and sure enough, Kalashnikov. Does the greatest American hero suit look a bit odd? Okay. Man, you're really making me think back to the old days. I might be running out of brain cells. Which one is it? There's a whole bunch of them. Okay. This is just really making me feel like I can't really remember on this one. I don't remember this band thing on the stomach. That's one thing I'll definitely say. And I'm really suspicious about... I definitely don't remember that band thing, and I'm really suspicious about this. But I won't swear to it. But the band thing would be the one that it looks wrong to me, but I really can't exactly say what all is my problem with it. And that was not a show I watched that much, so... The sign on the suit is wrong. There was no logo on his outfit. Okay. Yeah, I don't recognize it. The white line under the belt. I was a little suspicious of it, but I don't know. I do remember something being on there that wasn't all red, but I just can't remember what it was. Like what's there looks wrong, but I do remember something. It wasn't just like only red. You guys came up with a lot of good ones, but I'm like, every time you go on there, I have to go like, oh, okay. 40 years ago, what did that suit look like? And then I'm like, 40 years ago, what did the front of the Kitt car look like? 40 years ago, it's like, man. I watched it sometimes, but it wasn't my favorite show. But I mean, I did see it though. Indian rupee is still rupee, I'm pretty sure. It's already been 4 hours. No, it's been 3 hours over here. But that's plenty long. I think I gotta go because I'm running out of brain cells. It's still a long time. That might be why. I think 3 hours is about my limit. Pour a can of Red Bull on the baguette. Yeah, I don't want to do that before bed. Oh, the Lincoln chair. Okay, okay. Let's go back to the Lincoln chair. Lincoln chair statue. Ooh, let's see. I'm gonna find a good photo. It's always hard to find a good image of this one. Interesting. Okay. The hand about how I remember it. That one's about how. This like swirl of cloth is not how I remember it. I don't think. I'm gonna look at another image. He's still got the really funky tie. It's still got those same reeds bundles. That squared off toe that's stepping off. So those are older Mandelas there. The squared off toe stepping off, the clenched hand. I'm a little suspicious of this thumb sticking out that far. Let me just see what other angles we can get here. This is interesting because I don't think I've ever seen a back view than that little one. All right, let's look at it from here. The only thing I would say is it just seems that the clothing dangles here. Like this looks different. The older Mandelas, these clothing, you know. Okay. Let me look at a few more. I just thought of something. Okay. So what I would say, that it just struck me, this statue work just looks better. It used to look like a weird blob of something, but now it actually looks like fabric. It looks like, you know, this cross piece is here, first of all. I don't remember ever seeing like a patterning on this coat thing or whatever it is. It looks more like what it's supposed to be now, and I don't remember these patterns. Here also looks more like thinner, nicer, better. The pants look more like pants than like stone. They used to just kind of suck more. Now they look like it's a better job. The face looks more chiseled out and stuff. It actually is one of the few things I would say now looks better than it used to as far as statues. Okay, so these bumbly parts here, I don't remember that part sticking out. So it just looks like a finer job now because it kind of flares out. It really looks like clothing. So it used to be that this stuff hanging over the back, I'm like, what is that crap? I mean, it took me a while. It used to be to decipher that it was supposed to be a bumble of clothing, but now it is obviously so. It is better quality. So I don't know if that's what you were looking at, but that's what I'm seeing. That thing on Lincoln's neck, you mean that funky tie thing? Yeah, that's an older Mandela for me. Maybe not only are we the ones who remember, but the ones who change reality. Maybe are the core of the changes. Yeah, that could be it. If we're doing it, maybe we're less susceptible to it, like we're outside the matrix more and other people are in the matrix more. That is an interesting concept. The statue is more real than before. Yes. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you said that before I said it, but that's what I think. Yes was much more basic. Yes. Okay, we agree. That's one of the first improvements. Actually, that is another pattern. The statue work has improved. Some of the quality of the new old statues are amazingly much better than anything I saw before. With a very fine like silk over the muscles and the ropes. Like there's like complicated ropes all individually carved and stuff. That didn't used to have an existence like that. So I guess it kind of makes sense that Lincoln's statue is upgraded. So yeah, it took me a second because I'm looking at it. I'm like, all the shapes are about the same except for here and here. But then as I looked at it, I'm like, this one sucks way less. It used to look really cockamamie back there, and now it's reasonable. So like yeah, the stripe like these the marks on here look like actual fabric has been stretched here and then just painted white. It doesn't look like a statue so much. And then I was looking at the pants and there's like a texture on there that makes them look like pants. That didn't used to be the case. And the face is a lot better. So, yep. Well, I'm glad it's interesting because we saw the same things. Even though you put me on the spot. I think I'm just kind of flagging a little bit. Is he sitting on the flag? So it's supposed to be, last I checked, it's this giant overcoat thing or something I always been a little confused about why there's so much freaking coat going on in there. But that's supposed to be his coat. Yeah, I know, it's not the flag as far as I know. Maybe I can just look it up. Let's see. I think it's just called the Lincoln statue, I believe. Ugh. 19 feet tall from head to foot. What more info do we have? That's like useless. All right. His frock coat is unbuttoned and oh, it is. And the large United States flag is draped over the chair backs and sides. Huh, that's interesting. I don't think I've specifically looked that up, so I can't really say if that's how it was before. I do remember there was a bunch of fabric and crap along the back, though. And the large United States flag is draped over the chair back and sides. Huh. Kind of weird. That would explain why there's so much fabric. I wonder if it was always like that. Make sure we think of things that are good, pure, and lovely. Well, they're definitely trying to lean that way. I mean, humans are humans, so we're not going to be perfect, but try not to. I'm not going to deny that there are issues in the world, but try not to linger on them, roll in them, and just harp on them all day. Try not to go that route. Try not to be too much gloom and doom. I thought today was yesterday and was like, why isn't the show starting? Shoe tip was not so square. I do remember it being pretty square. There's a chance it got a little bit more. It might be just a hair's breadth sticking out more, maybe, but I'm not sure on that. I mean, originally it wasn't sticking out, but now and the last time I saw it was. It's showing the reason it went from wings to wings and how it was. Oh, I see. So Red Bull has wings with two eyes. Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. I don't remember seeing two eyes, but remember you used to look at the Lincoln Chair statue many times. Then you seem to not check it. I think every time I ever checked it was because you guys brought it up, to be honest. It's not on my official list, but you guys are always asking about it. I mean, not that I have a problem with it or anything. It has changed. That one for me maybe is a little harder for me to remember changes, though. So maybe I'm just like always a little worried I might miss something. But I did catch it this time. This one was sneaky because I was looking for certain things and it was, a quality issue more than a shape issue. The country of Niger is huge, was really small in the center of Africa. Yeah, I do remember it being small. Big storm in my neck of the woods. Love it. All right, well, it is 3, so I'm going to have to cut it off because my brain is starting to not want to use its last few cells. And it has been a very long day. Got a lot done, but I think it's time for me to go. Anyway, you guys got a lot of good stuff, so I very much appreciate it as usual. And thank you for the revenues. I very much appreciate that as well, of course. And so this is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline. I goofed it up. For reals.